There are a lot of good learning opportunities. I really like this question. We've got the percent change formula up there, so let's do a little writing. So suppose we have this, and I'll write two versions of it. We have this figure. Initially, it's full of sugar, but some of it is removed, and so let's sort of represent what the canister would look like now. And we want to know the percent change, the percent decrease in the amount of sugar. Well, here's what's interesting about this question. Normally, you would see something like this. You'd get an original amount, we'll call it X. Then there's a change. We'll have a smaller amount. That is some percentage of X or some fraction of X. And I'll just pick a number here randomly. Suppose the new number is 0.4X. And the percent change is, of course, the new number, in this case 0.4X, minus, you could call it the original number or the old number. Here it would just be X over X. We can simplify and we know the answer. And that's true of statement number one as well, but it's a little harder to figure out because let's do some new writing here. You say, well, what exactly is the new number and the old number, and how do I represent the relationship between the two? Well, in this case, the new number is best represented by X. The old number, the original number, is 30% greater, so we would take X and multiply it by 1.3. So suppose, for example, X were 10 cups. The amount we had in the container would have been, what, 13 cups. So we have X, we started with what, 1.3X. I'll write it down here, 1.3X. That's our original number. And right there, we know we could find the percent change. We know the formula, new number minus original over original. The X's are going to cancel. We could find percent change. So statement one, and this is statement one up here, statement one sufficient. So what can we cross out? We can't say that 2 and only 2 is sufficient. We don't need the statements together. We can't say that neither is sufficient since one is sufficient. So we can cross out B, C, and E. But the percent change, we'll come back to that after we're done because there are a couple of good lessons to learn from this. Statement two. Let's draw the container again, the sort of before and after pictures. The container was initially full, but then 6 cups are removed. So let's let this represent 6 cups. And so they're sort of what? They're sort of moved down here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you ask, well, what's the percent change? Well, we don't know because we don't know how many cups there were to begin with. 6 cups removed, but is that 6 out of 10? Is it 6 out of 600? Not sufficient. So E is out. So the answer to this question would be A. And I hope that makes sense. Please click the like button, subscribe if it made sense to you. But before we go, I'm going to flip to a new slide here. With regard to statement one, let's ask so suppose we had to estimate, well, what would be the percent change approximately? So we'll write it up here. The new number minus the original number, times X, over the original number, 1.3X. That is, well, on the top, let's factor an X. Let's factor an X out of the numerator. So X times 1 minus 1.3. X divided by 1.3. So X times 1 is X. X times 1.3 is 1.3X. Okay. Now what can we do? Cancel the X's. So we now have, denominator is now 1.3. Numerator 1 minus 1.3 is a negative 0.3. I'm going to write a little dot here to multiply. So times, let's multiply this by 10 over 10 to get rid of the fractions, to get rid of the decimals. So now we have negative 3 over 13. And let's ask, well, that is approximately equal to what? And it actually wouldn't take much time to figure out the exact number. Suppose we write up here 3 point, we'll throw a few zeros in here and divide by 13. Divide by 13, so I put another dot up there. Actually, it doesn't take much time, but an important lesson here. Suppose we rounded down the 13. So this is approximately negative 3 over 12, which simplifies to negative 1/4, which is 25%. So the answer to the question would probably be, one of your answer choices would probably be 25%. So I hope that helped. We've got many more free explanations of math questions on Practice Exam 2, Practice Exam 1. In the coming months, we'll have a ton of free explanations on questions from the GMAT official guide. To see all of them, and it's all free, go to our homepage on YouTube and click on the column that says Playlists. You'll see playlists for Practice Exam 2, Practice Exam 1, and in the future, many, many math problems from the official guide. So be sure to subscribe, share this video with your friends who are taking the GMAT. We'll see you in the next video.